Okay, so I'm back with another sampling tutorial, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you guys how to separate percussion. So we've already seen how to isolate a kick, hi-hat and snare, so I recommend watching those videos first because they use similar principles. Once you're able to do that, I'll be showing you in this one how to separate a synth, so a lead, a bass, or even a vocal from a beat. So say you've got a vocal and it's got a kick and a snare on. I'm going to show you, if you guys can isolate the kick and snare, how to isolate the vocal from the kick and snare. So I'm going to be using Wolfgang Gartner's Undertaker, a classic, for an example. And I'm just going to import it here and unwarp it, because we always want to unwarp it, especially when using phase cancellation to sample. And let's just reset the fade here and get it starting right on the attack. So let's have a look more or less. I'm gonna actually do this just so I can see better. And I guess something like this is okay. I'm gonna give it a tiny bit of fade. And let's just listen to what we've got here. I just did this so I'm sure that the kick starts exactly on the beat. And I think if the tempo looks already out, yeah, it already looks out of tempo, we can check. This is the metronome, so just turn this on. And we can tell that it's going out of tempo. So this is electro, so I'm guessing it's 128. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, and we can already tell we want to find some clean percussion samples, and we've already got this down sweeping effects here, so we don't want to sample there, of course. Let's try okay, so that sounds clean enough, so I'm just gonna grab this with Control X and cut it, and we're gonna do something similar to the clap tutorial. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend going and looking at it, because I explain it in more detail. So I'm gonna just let's see here. This is the drop. And let's go. Yeah, that sounds okay. So I'm gonna copy just a beat on top here, and I'm just gonna turn this off. And you can hear you've got that same beat on it. So I'm gonna solo the beat. And then so what we want is basically just the synths here, and we don't want the beat, so we can then sample those. So we can just use phase cancellation for this. So go into Audio Effects, Utility, and Phase Invert, and just drag it on the beat here. So this channel has got the phase invert. And now let's just have a look here if we've got any fades. And yeah, it looks like we do. So let's see if this works. Okay. So that worked really nicely, actually. So here's the difference. Okay, and here you can kind of still hear the clap a bit. And the hi-hat especially. And what happens is, in some songs, these are actually loops. And so there's a slight change in in each beat. There's a slight change. So this clap here won't be the same to this one. So we can just try and extend this and just try different claps on here. So I'm just gonna get rid of this one. And so let's try this clap first. And solo it. And that seems to be much better if you listen to this. Okay, so now what we can simply do is loop this. By the way, I was just using Control Z and Control Y there to go back and forth in the history. We can use Control L to select this, and then we can do Control Shift R to export it. And we can just export it to my desktop and say Synth 1, something like that. And then we can do the second one, just move this up and export this. Oh, just let me check if I've got any fades in this. Yeah, I do actually, so let's get rid of those. And okay, let's export this. Control R and Shift all together, and then export. And then Synth 2. And now let's have a look at that. Synth 1 and Synth 2. So what I'm going to do now is I can create maybe a third. I can delete this, I don't need this. And let's just bring in Synth 1 and Synth 2. And I'm just going to turn this track off. And let's just put them side by side. Okay, and those sound pretty clean. And then of course you can just take this again, maybe. Control X, and delete the rest. And then you already know how to sample this, so you can just put it on a drum pad, on a drum rack, and the end result could be this. So I'm just going to loop it. Okay, that's how you do it. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And some people actually asked for this tutorial, so I made this to help them out. And if you have any other questions on sampling and stuff, just let